Welcome to the Spiritual AI podcast. Welcome to this episode today. I am super excited about the energy that is coming in for myself right now. And I trust and I also know that there is a lot of shift happening for a lot of people right now. And a lot of us are coming out on the other side after having just gone through probably about 5 months of deep, deep, deep reflection, deep healing, and a beautiful transformation, a beautiful stepping out, a beautiful coming out. Feels like as I'm saying that, I can just see the butterfly coming out of its cocoon, right? In any case, I am super excited to be on the podcast today. I know that it's been a couple of weeks at least since my last episode, and it has been a little bit on and off over the last few months because, like I said, I have gone some dark places and I'm happy to see the sun. So on today's podcast, I want to introduce to you talk about and speak into something that I know is needed in the self-development and the spiritual development space. And it is time for us to seriously integrate this into every aspect of our being, whether you're an individual, whether you're a coach, whether you're a healer, whether you're a leader, whether you're just starting out in this industry. It is time to shake up the industry. It is time to come back to two very, very important spiritual foundations, spirit senses, which I call the AI code, or it's spiritual AI. So the AI stands for awareness and intuition, if you don't know that yet, in relation to my work and what I do. It is time to revolutionize the way that we've been doing things, because without awareness and intuition, it is leaving a big gap in the way that we live, in the way that we heal, in the way that we transform, in the way we do everything in life. And I've known for a very long time that awareness and intuition was my main message in the work that I am meant to do, and the reason why I am essentially on this earth, on this planet, in this reality. It is to bring awareness to awareness and intuition, the lack of the gap that it has created because we have been programmed and steered away from those two senses for a very, very long time. We have been disconnected from ourself and our true inner voice. And that is why we struggle to have the breakthroughs. We struggle to find out, what is my purpose? We struggle to integrate work that, for instance, coaches and leaders put out there. They give us the knowledge, they give us the steps, but we take the steps and we can't make it our own. We can't follow through. We don't manifest the thing that we want because there's something missing in the process, and it is awareness and intuition. And those two, in my view, have to run together. The one cannot be there without the other one. Okay, so one of them can't be there without the other one. And I will probably go into that in this episode. So awareness and intuition. So why do I say there's a gap? Why do I say that it is something that is missing and that it needs to be brought back? Well, there's really a million ways I can go with this conversation, but where I will start with this is that our awareness is the true us. That is the observer. If you've read The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, you'll understand what I'm saying. If you don't understand, awareness is the ultimate part of you, if I can explain it like that. Intuition is then the soul, it's the voice of the soul. This is the guidance. So, but without awareness, you cannot recognize your intuition, because intuition isn't loud. Intuition is soft. Intuition is gentle. Intuition doesn't speak in and try and explain itself in a million different ways. Intuition speaks to you in one or two words, very softly, very quickly. And then if you miss that, you miss the direction that you need to take in. You miss what your soul is trying to tell you. Okay. That is why you have to have awareness, because you have to have the awareness to recognize and notice and see, become aware of the intuition that pops in. Now, this takes time, but it doesn't have to take 20 years. Okay, it doesn't have to take 5 years for you to see, for you to know where to go, for you to go through your healing. It can speed up exponentially if you integrate awareness and intuition into your life from the beginning. So if you're starting on your spiritual journey and you've got a million different coaches telling you a million different things, and it can become really confusing and overwhelming when you first start because there's so much out there. My dear friend, start with these two spirit senses, awareness and intuition. It will give you the strongest foundation so that you can know who to choose as a mentor, so that you get to know which direction to go in, so that you can navigate the confusion and the overwhelm that is happening out there right now. Okay. I will just drop this in here. The system, right? Governments, the system, however you want to look at them, they have programmed us away from our inner guidance system. And it is evident in the schooling system, right? When you enter the schooling system at an earlier and earlier age now, you are bright-eyed, you are excited to explore. And the minute you go into school, you are being told to sit down and conform. Raise your hand if you want to ask a question. If you say something that is outside of the norm, outside of the program that they're giving you, that they're teaching you, you are told that you are wrong, that you shouldn't think like that this is the answer, right? And we can go into this. This is a really big conversation, but I wanted to put this in here so that you can see how society has programmed us out of it. They've programmed us to reach for a tablet rather than look inside first to find out if it is a physical issue or whether it is an emotional or a spiritual issue. Because I can tell you now, once you realize what the body-mind connection is and how it does, what it does for your life and in your life, you'll more than likely first ask some emotional and spiritual questions to figure out if it actually is yours, first of all. And then at the very last bit, you might reach for a tablet if it truly is a headache, because your awareness told you and showed you that you ate something new and that is reacting to your body. Okay, that's a whole different conversation. But what I want to show you is that we have been programmed away from our senses. And it's time for us to bring back. We've got to come back to ourselves. We've got to come back to the foundations of what and who we are, because we hold a lot of wisdom within ourselves and within our soul, and we are connected to the divine, however you want to look at it, God, the universe, okay? And we have direct access to the steps that we need to take to achieve our goal, if you want to say in that way, if you want to achieve your purpose in life, if you want to just live a happy, content life. It's all inside of you. It's not outside of you. There's a lot of content out there. There's a lot of leaders out there, and they're doing a lot of good work. What I've noticed, though, is that there is a gap. Now, let's use the example of, for instance, manifesting. And I want to show you how the gap is showing up within the self-development and spiritual development spaces, right? So I did some research last year when I was getting ready for one of my programs. And I decided to have a look at, I'll just turn the fan around because it's a little bit cold now. It's up and down the temperature here in Perth. So so I did some research on on manifesting. And I looked at six of the leaders in the world around manifesting. And I took each one of those leaders and I drew up an Excel spreadsheet. I put them down and I noted their steps. Okay. Then what I did was I looked at the law of attraction. I put those steps down, and then I looked at the general steps for manifesting and I noted those down. And what became very clear, what I had noticed, but this just confirmed what I was looking at and what I was looking for, is that there is a gap in those steps, because nobody in those six people that I looked at, the six leaders that I looked at, plus the general steps for law of attraction manifesting, there was no steps in there that was connecting people to their inner power that would allow them to integrate and implement the steps in an easier, more aligned way. Awareness and intuition was not featured in any of those, okay? And then I've noticed it with my clients for years. I've always, the first thing, if you come to a first session with me, that is the first thing we tap into, because I know that if I say something to you and you don't have the awareness to see what I'm saying, you're going to miss it. It's going to leave a gap. And then I started paying attention to, if I was doing like a free 3-day like boot camp with somebody, or I was doing somebody's content, or I was listening to podcast, I become acutely aware that when the coaches were talking, they would very loosely use and mention awareness, but they will never, ever, ever dive into it and make a point of showing their clients that awareness is really an important step. And then I was seeing how, if I viewed it from a client's perspective, I saw how it was leaving gaps and questions with me in what they were explaining. Now, I've been on this journey for a long time, so a lot of the concepts I get. But because of my level of awareness and because of my analytical mind and strategic, the mind that I have and the way that I'm put together and my gifts and my strengths, I could see how it was leaving questions in my mind, in the client's mind, by what they were saying and how they were presenting it. And it became very clear to me that there was a gap in the self-development and spiritual development industry because people were not teaching their clients spiritual foundations. Okay, if you don't want to talk about spiritual foundations, if you are outside of the spiritual scope, but you are in self-development, awareness and intuition, everybody is aware. Awareness is a general term. It is who we are. We can create awareness. Intuition is the gut feeling. So if you don't want to talk about it in a sense of the spiritual intuition side, it is your gut. It is that gut sense that every single one of us has. I say this again, every single one of us have it. All right. Now, where was I going with this? The gap. There was something else that I wanted to tell you guys about as well that I wanted to bring awareness to. Oh, yes. The fact that, so when we are on this journey as leaders, as experts in our field, as coaches, as mentors, we've been on this journey for a really long time. And we build up awareness and intuition along the way. We build up this trust. And it's taken us, for the most of us, probably 10 years, 20 years, okay, depending on where you're at your journey, even 5 years. And we've built up awareness and intuition, and it's part of the process, right? But if only if you are really looking at trying to figure out how you got from point A to point D, or from A to W, or wherever you are right now, if you're not looking for it, you are not going to become aware that it actually is awareness and intuition that got you through each stage. You build more intuition, you build more awareness as you went on, as you went through the iterations of yourself, as you went through your healing cycles, as you went through your clarity cycle, like everything. Awareness and intuition is the underlying factor that actually gets us through and helps us navigate and get to the next point. But we forget this. When we are in the coach's space, when we are in the leader's space, when we become the guide, the mentor, we often forget what it was like and the questions that we needed answered when we first started. And that's the gap, okay? As coaches and as leaders, we need to have an element of foundations built into, and this is where I've now designed the AI code so that it can be integrated into coaches, leaders, and mentors, into their content, so that it can help close the gap that's existing in their content. It does. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with your content. I'm saying that there is a missing link that is stopping your client fully connecting, fully integrating what you're giving them. Okay. And that is from a coach's perspective. As an individual, okay, if you are on the journey, there is nothing more important than starting with your foundations, awareness and intuition. If you can tap into that, it is not only going to allow you to integrate the material that your coach, leader, mentor, your guide is trying to give you or giving to you. My mind is gone again. There's something that wants to come through. So just bear with me. I'm going to keep with this, right? And it will come through. So it will not just change the way that you perceive and integrate information that's coming from coaches, healers, and leaders out there. It will change the way that you live. It will change your energy for the day, just to start on a basic level. It will change the way that you communicate and experience your relationship with your children. It will change the way that you experience your relationship with your partner, male or female. It will change the relationship and the way you eat your food. Okay, because if you're eating food and you're feeling terrible afterwards, if you are in a lack of awareness, you are going to go, oh, I'm bloated, have something, there's, what's it called? I don't know, all this stuff for bloating. Take that and then you feel better. But in a state of awareness, you're going to eat that thing and you're going to go, I'm bloated, it's not reacting with my body. Let me not eat that again. Okay. And in that way, your health gets better because you're eating in awareness. If you go to the gym, for instance, doing the right exercise for your body, because not every exercise is meant for everybody, because we are different, right? You might get better results from walking rather than going to the gym and running on the treadmill for an hour. If you have a heightened awareness and you're aware of your body, if you are guided by your intuition, it will tell you what is best for you. But it is missing. We have been coached, we have been programmed away from our two most important and the two most fundamental spirit senses. So I feel a deep, deep, deep desire to bring this to the world. And this hasn't just come overnight. This has been a journey for myself over years and years and years. There has been a lot of iterations. There has been a lot of pivots. There's been a lot of peeling back layers There has been a lot of insights, a lot of healing. There has been a lot that I had to work through to get to the point where I am now, where I can say, I know this is missing in the industry because I've seen it in my clients, and I've seen it in my courses, and I've seen it in other people's programs and in other people's courses and whatever is out there, right? Now is the time for us to shake up the industry. Now is the time for us to really bring awareness, because it is not just for the industry, it is actually for the planet, for where we are at right now. There is a need for us to wake up and connect very deeply back into what is right for us. And we need to stop listening to the people out there telling us what is right for us. Now, we can take this conversation into so many different directions. We can go into how governments are controlling us, how they want to take away our, our freedom by putting certain things in place, right? But I'm not going to go there, because I think if you're listening to this podcast, you're perhaps waking up to that truth. Now, if you are aware and you are guided by your intuition, you are going to make the right decisions in who to vote for, who to follow, okay? Do you become one of the leaders that steers us in a different direction? There's so much that I can say around awareness and intuition and how it can impact us, not only on an individual level, but in a community and globally. It is so important for us to start integrating awareness and intuition. And I have on my website, if you're an individual and you want to just learn a little bit about awareness and intuition and this connection to yourself, I have an awareness and intuition masterclass on my webpage. And there's a couple of pages. It's under the heading SLA. I might change that so it's easier for you guys to find. I might just make it masterclass. So I will go and edit the website so it says masterclass, and you can find the masterclass underneath there. It is a low ticket offer. It is something that you can keep, and there's a lot of content in there that's going to help you connect to your awareness and build trust with your intuition. Not just build trust, how to recognize it, okay? How to listen to it, how to act on it. There's a lot of content there for you. Then, if you are a coach, you're a leader, a healer in the space, whether you're beginning or whether you are stepping or whether you're already up there, whether you're already a world leader, I want to invite you to either grab my AI code integration guide. It's a 55-page guide that gives you swipe files and content, stuff that you can integrate into your business. This is not about me putting my content in there. You've already created the magic. I am just gifting you the missing link, the AI code that is going to amplify your content, and it is going to accelerate the results that your clients get. Okay? This is like, for instance, the iPhone not just being a phone, but then getting the App Store, and it changed the phone forever because it became a portal to the entire world. All right. This is not to replace your content. This is to amplify what is happening. It is the gap. It is closing the gap. So if you're a coach, a leader, a guide, and you want to, you can see this, okay? Then I've got the integration guide there. It's 55 pages of content. I show you how you can integrate it into your work. And there's two different ways that I can also work with you one-on-one. If you want me to come in and actually do a strategy session with you and see where potentially there are gaps in your message, and how if we close that gap, your content will land. All right. People will embody it way, way, way better than what they would receiving it without awareness and intuition, right? So as I was sitting and working through a few things, I've got these two graphs on my webpage, and just to give you an idea, and this stat is from my own experience with my clients and my students. So this is not based on anything else. It's just what I've seen in my business, is that between 40 and 60% of the content that you give out to your clients, or that I've given out to my clients, have not been integrated fully. Okay. If you bring in awareness and intuition, you bring that information up to 70 to a 90% integration. That's huge. From people who were not fully integrating it to bringing it all the way around to 70 to 90% integration. That's almost a 30% increase in the way that your information, my information with my clients, could be and has been received, right? So I don't want to go into the, if you're interested, you can have a look on the webpage. I will put the links in the comment sections or the description for the episode. Go and have a look. If this lands and you know and you can see the value that it can bring to you as a coach, a healer, and a leader, then let's connect. Reach out to me. If you're an individual, the AI Masterclass would be perfect for you. And if you want to dive a little bit deeper, because essentially you're going to get to a point where you want to learn more, you want to know more, you want to integrate more. And if you want to do more, the AI code integration guide that I have, the 55-page document that I have, will be perfect for your next step, because those tools and techniques that I give to coaches and the leaders is something that you can integrate into your own life, and you can also use it for your kids, and you can use it with your husband, your partner, or you can use it, if you're a teacher, you can use it with your students. So there is value in the integration guide for an individual as well. In fact, I highly recommend that you grab it. All right, so I don't want to go too much further into this episode. I think that this message would have landed with you. I trust and I hope that it's landed with you. If you've got questions, reach out. If you want help, reach out. If there's something you don't understand and you need help with integrating, if you feel like if it resonates with you and you feel drawn to me in some way, please reach out. Use your awareness to notice that you are drawn to what I'm saying, and then trust the guidance that you're receiving to reach out to me. It's part of the process, right? I'm going to leave the episode there. I am super excited. I'm super fired up. I am ready to take on the world. Okay, so as I'm saying that, I have a flash of Pinky in the Brain, where he says, what are we going to do today? And he says, we're going to take over the world. The same thing we do every single day. I am ready to take over the world. I am ready to bring this message to the world, because there is such a big gap, and it is so easy to fill and reconnect people back to their inner guidance and help them live happy, fulfilled, purposeful lives. And all we need is to just come back to ourselves. It is such a basic, such a fundamental thing, but it's like the wheels on the car, or it's the key in the ignition. Because if you don't have the key and you can't start the car, you can't drive the car. That is what the AI code is. It is the key. It is the missing link in everything that we do, not just in the self-development industry. It is the missing key in your life. It is the missing link that is going to help you transform and heal and grow and step into your most beautiful, most powerful version of you. It's time. It is time, beautiful soul. So step in, reach out, trust your intuition, go change the world. Take care.